Well, good afternoon. Good Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody's had a good start to their weekend. Um, if you caught me before I really came on, pulling stitches out, I was just tootling along here and realized I had put them on the wrong side. So I could have kept them on there, but it would have confused my plan. I am doing this morning, I am doing 2.5 inch hexies. The package has 80 blocks in it, and I wanted to see how big of a quilt 80 blocks would make. So, in preparation for next week's um, programs, I was looking at my scraps, so I pulled out a blue drawer and threads everywhere, and decided that I would make a blue hexi quilt just to see how big it would make. And I thought it might be kind of a cute little uh, kids quilt or baby quilt or whatever. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. But so far, I've cut half of them, and I haven't touched the blue scrap bin. And there are 40 so far. No two are the same fabric. So my challenge to myself is to see if I can do 80 blocks with 80 different fabrics. We'll see. It's going to be close. I'm sure if I really wanted to, I could go through and pull 80 different fabrics. So I'm doing it in quarters. I'm going to do, it's going to end up being 10 blocks wide or 8 blocks wide, 10 blocks high. So I'm going to do it in quarters just so I don't have to wrestle a big chunk consistently. I'll make 4 that I can handle, and then I'll join them together, and it won't be any big deal. But before I get to sewing, I want to share a couple of other things with you. I did get, this is, I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see, but I have 9 of these blocks sewn together. So there we are. And I'm loving that little sashing, that little stripe with all the primary colors. I'm using more than just the primary colors for my hexies, but I just think I'm loving it. I am an eighth of the way there. The way I've laid it out, I'm gonna have to have 72 of these. So it's gonna take a while, but I think I have all of the hexies themselves cut out, or I'm very, very close to it. So, and sewing the flower together, that's a piece of cake. What takes the time is appliquing it. So that's, for me, that's evening time. So, if I can get a couple, 2 or 3 done every night, or my goal is to get at least 3 done within a 24-hour period. I may sit, sometimes when I get up in the morning, especially if I get up real early, I'll sit and have coffee and I'll do a little applique. It's a nice way to start the day. And of course, in the evening, watching TV, can do some applique. So as long as I don't have a lot of other projects to do. But speaking of handwork, yesterday I started my big bowl from the Hexies, and I pulled this gorgeous Asian fabric. It's got a little bit of gold metallic. I don't know if the light will catch it, but that's my main color, and then just the off-white with the gold metallic in it. So I got, what I decided after I made the other ones. I'm folding it, but then I'm hand stitching it down so I can hand stitch down the miters so they don't stick up like they did on the little one. So I've got two of them ready to sew together. Now my question is, am I going to sew these together on the machine with a zigzag, or am I going to do a pretty, like an embroidery stitch, you know, that crosses over to catch both? I haven't decided, but I got a little bit of time because I have 6 more of these to do. And I do have pretty much, I think I have one, two, that's 4. I have all of them cut, but I wanted to show you how I prepared these. The package comes with the small inner one and then the outer one, or the backing, which is this side. So what I did was I took the foundation and I put it on the wrong side of the fabric. I spray basted it, and then I spray basted it to the batting. Then I spray based the batting side and set it on the foundation, centered it on the foundation. So it's all together. And I really don't mind having the couple of layers of spray foundation. I know when I steam these, it's pretty much going to go away. And the other day, I think the first day on Tuesday when I started the Hexies and I was showing how to put them out on the um, where there's squares with the hexi in the middle, and you put your little mini charm squares on there. And I was using the 505 temporary adhesive, and then I ended up not having it stick very well. I realized after the show that the can was virtually empty. I wasn't really getting any spray out of it or any of the glue out of it. So I happened to have another can of one I wanted to try that says temporary based, and I used it, and oh my goodness, there is a huge difference. The one that the second one I tried, it is so stiff. Now I don't know what it's going to be like after I steam press it, but it just made me a bigger fan of the 505. And I usually buy it by the case, and of course I had two half-used ones left at home. That's it. I sold all the rest, so I'm gonna have to order some more, or it's gonna stop me from finishing these projects. I plan to finish this maybe over the weekend if I get a chance to do some hand sewing, and I'm going to make the lid for it. That's why I have 8 of these, and I want to heavily embellish the lid. And this is going to be a little jewel box on my nightstand. Um, I think I told you guys I tend to forget to take my earrings off at night, and sometimes if I have a bracelet on, I'll forget to take it off. I'll get in bed and take it off and just set it on my nightstand. And I have a cat that comes in my bedroom and likes to jump up on the cabinet that's in between the 2 corner windows so she can look out at the world, and she uses my nightstand as her launch pad. So sometimes she scatters my jewelry, and that upsets me. So I've decided I need to put a little container for my jewelry on the bedside. So that's what this one's going to be. So I kind of heavily embellish it um, with beads, probably some thread work, but mostly, beads and thread work. But I want to make it pretty. So I promise I'll share it with you when it's finished. And I'm also working on the cowboy placemat with the 1-inch hexies. It's all cut out. They're all cut out. They're all ready to go. I've got my rows stacked in order. I laid them out so I get a good array of fabrics. And the outside edge, I decided to go with the bandana, navy blue bandana. and then I am going to use the lighter brown that looks like tooled leather. I'm going to use that for the binding, and the companion boot fabric will be the back side of the placemats so that they'll actually be reversible. So anyway, but I thought it would be more fun to show you the larger hexies, and I think it's a lot easier to see the method. So this is, I've got 1, 2, 3 more pieces to add to this quarter and it will be done, but I'll start another quarter here so you can follow along and we can talk, I hope. Let's see. Hello to everybody. I would like, Charles, I'd like to see, you said yesterday something about some of my patterns in Tula Pink fabric. I would love to see them when you get them done, or even while you're working on them. Progress pictures would be nice. And we have the new Facebook chat group, Easy Piecing. It's Easy Piecing chat group, and great place. We'd love you guys to share your projects, even if they're not done. Show them in progress. It gives everybody else just a little bit of a push or encouragement. So that would be fun if you'd share it with. I have a Free Spirit account, so I can get the Tula Pink fabrics, and I would love some ideas. So anyway, so let's get started on this one. I have first 2 fabrics sewn together, and I'm not doing these in any particular order since there's 40 different fabrics. I'm trying to keep the solids and the prints. Well, that almost looks like a repeat. Yeah, it's a little different. I'm trying to keep them mixed up so I don't have all solids together and all prints together. Like them to kind of, I don't know why it doesn't really make a difference. I think these are pretty good order. I didn't realize I had a couple of different bee fabrics. They're kind of cute. Oh, and I got a little, what's that? Dogs and cats. Mix the darks and the lights. Just kind of random here. So I can just pick off the top. Okay, I'm going to do 4 across. So I'm going to put my right sides together and match those edges. Just like that. And we're going to stitch. Oh, the half square triangle one. Oh. Are you doing it from a layer cake? Hey, I'm with you about the only wanting to do your quilts on this stuff. I don't think I've traditionally pieced in years. This to me is just such a relaxing way to sew. I've spoiled myself. I'm working on a project up at the house. In my life, I've entered, let's see, 1, 2, I think 3 competitions. And the first one toured internationally. It wasn't a judged thing. It was just if they liked it, it's a theme, or you've got to follow certain criteria for your quilt to qualify, and they accepted, I forget how many, it's been so long ago, I remember it had to be embellished with at least 100 beads or buttons or whatever. So I figure that was a win to enter my first thing and be accepted to do a touring show. And then the next one I entered in a local competition and it won. And the next one won a viewer's choice. So I said, I'm never going to enter again because I'm spoiled. And um, but I see that there's going to be there's a competition for a um, modern mini, and I already had it designed and the fabric pulled for it. So I decided, let's go for it. Okay, I'm going to put, yeah, I want 4 across and 5 rows up. So actually, let's see, I want to do that. Ooh, that is gorgeous. And fussy cut. Wow. I may get some bird noises and stuff. I have the door open. It's beautiful outside. And I turned the heater off in the studio, so I decided to open the door and let the heat, because it's colder in the studio than it is outside. So hopefully the guys aren't going to run the tractor close by. I just, right before I came on, Bob called me and he said, check out the back door. We have a field and a hill behind the house, and our caretaker just mowed the field day before yesterday. There was the most beautiful doe out there just grazing away. Beautiful. I love seeing that. And our cats, oh my gosh, when Marty was mowing, our cats were out there following him. The field mice, the cats went crazy. We didn't even see them in the patio for 2 days. They're so full of field mice. I guess they're nice, big, and fat. And cats love them, I guess. We have 3 outdoor cats since we got those cats. We have no gophers in our lawn, no squirrels hanging around, no moles, no gophers. It's been great. No mice in the house. Just having them out and having the cats out in the yard. But they stick around the patio. I do feed them. They do stick around our patio area mostly, but I see them out in the fields hunting. Okay, there we are. I'm going to pivot this one. If you're hesitant about hexies, these bigger ones are really easy to work with. To get the hang of it. They're real easy. Now I got a template done the other day for I'm going to try the little 1/2-inch hexies and making a pin cushion, an apple-shaped pin cushion. I don't know if I'll have the patience to do the 1/2-inch, but we'll try. Okay, this one's gonna go here. Oh, see, that's my 2nd B fabric. Oh, I guess I haven't used the other one. So this quarter's gonna have both. And they're not coordinating fabrics. They're from totally different lines. But you'll see next week how these, you can cut these from this size hexi. You can cut it from a charm pack. but the very tips on the wide side, the very tips won't, they, it's not quite wide enough for that. Close, but it's workable. It's doable. You can use them. And years ago, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many years ago, our first trip to the East Coast, um, I went to Jenny Byers' studio in Virginia, and I bought charm pack, but it's 150 pieces, and it's from her. It's her palette, and I was thinking, geez, that would be kind of cool to do in these big hexies, and um, do like a watercolor, do, because it goes, it's the full spectrum of colors. And I was thinking kind of a wash might be kind of cool to do. So that's why I'm anxious to get this one done, to see what it's like. And I had an idea this morning when I'm cutting these out. Another idea for hexies. You don't have to just stick with grandmother's flowers. Is taking this with the foundation and put it, but stitch it, put the foundation on the front side of the fabric, stitch on the solid line all the way around, do a slit in the foundation, and turn it, clip your corners, turn it inside out, so you have a finished turned edge on all six sides. And then, I don't know if you've seen um, a quilts where you have the finished single hexi block, and they're lined up, but they're slightly apart. They're appliqued onto a background. Not necessarily appliqued if you pin them down, or however you want to adhere them to the background, because they line up, so you can stitch down, like stitch this way all the way on down through all of them, and then you can stitch through the points 3 directions to hold them to the back. But they're finished, so I was thinking about that this morning, thinking I have a couple pictures that I pulled off of a Google search for inspiration, and thought, oh, that would be a cool one to do, a little more modern, and you wouldn't have to cover the whole background with them. You could do something very modern. I think that would be kind of cool too. So, no, ours, to this point of sewing. So anyway, I have that one. I need to turn this one more time. And the Y seams on these are just so easy. See, I just pivoted that, match my edges, and pull that out. Pull your seam allowances away, and then I'm just going to stitch from this end to this end. And I don't back stitch, because if I go too far, it could cause a little pucker, but I do shorten my stitches. And sometimes at the very end, I can make it do 2 stitches in the same place, which is kind of knotting it. So there we have it. That is a perfect point right there. You can't hear me? Is it okay now? Oh, it was probably because of somebody called me and I forgot to put do not disturb on. So it probably, while it was taking a message. I put these in order. I'm not gonna change it. So, okay, so we're gonna add the next one. We're gonna put right sides together, match those edges. And then on this side over here, underneath, I'm going to pull the seam allowance away from where I'm going to sew. And I can feel the end of the line is right at that seam that goes this way. And that's right where you want it to be. These big ones are much nicer to get to the machine. These are fun. And it doesn't take nearly as many to make a good sized project. I have so many earth tone fabrics, a lot of Kansas trebles, and similar type fabrics, reproduction fabrics. I was thinking, wouldn't that make a gorgeous bed quilt? I mean, a huge one. And it really wouldn't take a long time. And then I think quilting it would be a lot of fun. Really make a very beautiful and unusual. I would think that would be more of a traditional style, and yet it would depend on your colors and how you used them. It could be a very modern quilt. Yeah, Kansas trebles are, there's just something about them. They make you feel comfortable, I think. They're soft, soothing, something. I don't know what it is, but yes. And I like that from year to year, the color palette stays pretty much the same. Designs are different, but the color palette, I'm gonna make sure I got, there we go. You want to make sure you don't catch the two seam allowances. And I mean, it's not the end of the world if you catch the seam allowance. It's just going to keep it from keep you from being able to do the little the twist on the back side when you press it. Because now you know we're gonna, when we do press this, and I'm gonna get the whole quarter done before I press it. When you press it, we're gonna press our seams to go in a circle, and that makes that junction where the three come together, it makes it pop open, so you don't have any bulk in your quilt. When you put your batting and your backing and you quilt it, it's not a lump like a lot of times you get when you have the four seams coming together. Makes it nice and flat. Okay, so I have 4, 4. We're gonna do that one. I say I'm not gonna change them, but I do. Okay, this one's gonna go right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's when I came on, I was pulling stitches out. I'd put the first one here, and instead of going this way, I went this way. Had myself totally confused. That's not hard to do. I'm going to flip this one over just to show you, if you want to make sure that you don't go past that seam line. If you turn it over, you see the seam line. You don't just rely on your feel. So I know I've shown you a lot of projects this week, none of which have been completely done, but as I finish them, I will be sharing them with you later on. I'll go back. I think I showed you last week's project is totally done. Not only did I get the binding sewn on, I got it stitched down on the back. I'm so proud of myself, because usually I might get the binding sewn on, but it is like forever to sit and stitch it down. And I'm kind of, that's one thing I enjoy, stitching it down, and it just makes, I don't know what it is, I just really like the way it makes a quilt feel. Something, maybe it's just the feeling of accomplishment of doing it, but a lot of times that's the last, I've taken so many quilts to shows, and I'm embarrassed that they're not done, but they're done enough to show. See, now I'm going to turn this over. I'm adding this piece, but I'm going to just flip it over so I know I've got that seam allowance pulled out of the way. I'm going to actually, when this show's over, I am going to go out. Marty used the tractor to mow the field the other day. I like to follow up. I have a riding mower. I call it my riding mower. He uses it to mow the lawn and everything, but I'm going to take it up to the field. See, I just twist this. This is where I just sewed. So now I'm just going to twist this. It pivots off the end stitch. So then this one we pull out of the way and match your corners up here, match your corner and match your edge. And your other end should just automatically match. And I can feel that line goes right to this seam line here. If you cut these out on the broken line, your solid lines should match. And if you do get a pucker where you have the Y seam, that's why I don't why I don't backstitch, because if I had a little pucker here, I'd want to go back and pick that last little stitch out that goes too far to make the pucker. And if you shorten your stitches, you don't have to worry about it coming undone. Okay, I match the point, match my edges, and I'm gonna sew the end of this line. I can feel with my fingernail. I push down and it's right against the seam. It makes it just so simple. So anyway, this afternoon, since it's beautiful weather and we're supposed to have rain come in Monday night, the tractor doesn't get the grass cut too short, and so I like to go out and recut it and spread the trimmings. Stupid. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, I like it to look like that. So, and I get a lot of thinking done when I'm driving tractor like that. Long expanses just out in the sun. Get my vitamin D. Okay, and now I'm just gonna pivot. That makes that one fold. Bring the edges up to match. There we go. Perfect. Oh, good. I was afraid that might pucker, but it's fine. Okay, and then turn it one more, pivot it one more time. Match those edges and stitch on the line. There it is. Hi, Linda. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. I got one more. Yeah, next week I'm going to kind of show you how I organize my stash and get some of it ready for projects like this. I do strips and squares and keep them all organized by color. I do fat quarters and then squares that I commonly use in my patterns, like for the pineapple block for the center and for the corner pieces. I only do a couple size squares, and you know, if they're a little bit like For this one, I'm using the 6-inch square, and because that's a size, common size used in quite a few of my patterns, or close to it, maybe 5.5, but I don't feel bad using a 6-inch square when it calls for a 5.5. And that way, when I like to have some scrap projects going all the time. Okay, there's 3 rows of 4. But I like to have scrap projects going all the time. And like something like this. And it could be multicolor. It doesn't have to just be blues. The reason I pulled the blues for this one was because I have a little boy that I wanted to make a quilt for. Just a quilt to throw on the floor or whatever, that, I wouldn't feel I had a ton of money and a ton of time involved in it. And but that would be, I'm thinking minky on the back, and it would be a great little one to throw on the floor with them and let them crawl on. Whatever. Anyway, I like to have scrap quilts going. And the one on my bed, which I will bring down on Tuesday to show you, it qualifies size-wise as a king, but as a king, like a topper, it doesn't go real far down in the sides. So I want to make another one and make it probably 2 blocks wider and 2 blocks longer, and then it will go all the way to the floor, or close to the floor. Um, but it's the rainbow pineapple quilt. I think there's a picture of it on the website, and it is a pattern that we offer. But I have colors, like I think there's 36 blocks in the quilt, and so there's 6 of each color, and then they go diagonally. And I want to make another one just like it. My husband loves it. It's just not quite big enough for me. It's perfect for my queen size beds. So I want to make another one, and I get tired of making the same block all the time. So I like to have projects like that around, where I got an hour or so, before I have to do something or whatever, that I could just sit and sew on that. So I'm going to share how I do that with you guys. And I have a log cabin one going. If you like the Kansas Troubles fabrics, we did our house quilt twice in Kansas Troubles fabrics. And so I have the leftovers from that, and plus things I've bought during the years for myself personally, and reproduction fabrics that run in the same color. I'm doing a log cabin quilt with those, and I'll show you how I organized, so that the project is really simple. When you want to do it, it's your strips are already cut, and I can just sit out. Like if I'm going to do, today I want to do a yellow pineapple block for my bed quilt. And so I'll just bring the yellow drawer out, and it has my squares in it, and it has my strips in it, and it's not neat. I think it's enough that I got it cut. So I'll just bring that drawer out, and I don't even cut for the lengths. I just grab, and it's all random, and it's gorgeous. So I'm going to share that with you next week, and the log cabins, and we have some stripe blocks, we have diagonal stripe, just all kinds of projects. And I am going to ask Laura to share. She's got a diagonal stripe one that I started working on years ago. And I gave it to her, and she's made a bunch of blocks, but she ran out of neutral fabrics, and I haven't sent her any. So next week, showing how to organize this all, I will do that for her and get them sent, because it's going to be a beautiful quilt. It's one of those, a lot of the ones that I show you, some are patterned, but some we just offer blocks, and there'll be a chart or something. You just buy the blocks, buy the packages of blocks, and we'll tell you how many you need for the various size quilts, but there won't be a pattern per se for those. This one is going really fast. I can't believe it. I think it took me longer to get the blocks ready. Actually, it didn't take very, I've done all this morning, so those two together. I'm also going to be posting directions. I'm not going to sell a pattern for the journal cover. This is my journal. I'm ready to take it up to my greenhouse and keep it up there. I just but I'm going to post how to measure, because not everybody's journal is going to be the same exact size as mine. So I will show you how to measure your book, because you've got to remember, you've got to allow for the spine when you end up closing the book. Because if you took the measurements and when it closes, it just takes up more, it requires more length on your piece. So anyway, I will be putting a posting on the instructions page of our website. I'll be putting a page on how to measure, so you know how to do it. And very simple instructions. They're very simple to do. So, okay, where am I? Let's see. Here we are. I got this side sewn. Now we're going to just pivot it. A couple of these Hexies I did fussy cut. So if you've got a themed fabric and you want a fussy cut, it's so simple to do. Because you can see through this fabric, through our foundations. I know when I was paper piecing and you want a fussy cut, you go, you hold it up to the light, and you think you got it just right, and by the time you get it back down to the table, it's moved. Or you have to have a light table. And then it still will move on you. Okay, whoops. Threads, threads, threads. Okay, so I got one row, two, three. I got one more to put right there. Turn this one, pivot it. And the one I'm working on that I showed you last week with all the beautiful, that gorgeous fabric, I have it on the design wall, putting it together, because it's to the point now where the blocks I make now, I need to know where to put them and how to place how many sides to put the background on. So it's coming along and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be my pride and joy, or whatever. It's going to be my favorite one for a while anyway. I got to get on Laura's case. She started a long time ago. I think when she first started doing her lives, she started with a hexi flag quilt, and she's got quite a bit of it done, and it is up on her design wall. I'm going to have to get after her to get it done for this year. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey guys, I only got one more row to do on this one. Let's see, there's another bee fabric. Little bees, big bees. What I'll do is I'll sew these 2 quarters together, and then this afternoon I will have to, when I come back in from running the tractor, I will cut out my other 40. I still have 2 or 3 drawers of blue scraps that I haven't got to yet, so I'm sure I'll be able to get 40 more fabrics, so I can have all 80 different fabrics. That will be cool. Okay, pivot this one. Oh, I got bees and butterflies together. Oh, I was going to show you. I fussy cut my butterfly. Here we go. Fussy cut that one. I did not fussy cut the animals. Didn't even think about it. I was just moving right along. Cutting 6-inch squares. So let's see, if there's 80 blocks in this quilt, you could use 2 charm packs. So your fabrics would all be coordinated, which would be kind of cool. And 2 charm packs isn't much. We'll see how threads. We'll see how big this is going to be. 2 charm packs. See, now the fabrics I have from Ginny Buyer, there's 150 pieces in that. So that's going to be almost double what the 80 one will be. And I do have some of her fabrics if I wanted to make it 160. Use 2 full packages, foundations. Okay, that one's sewn on. Now we're just gonna pivot it around. Matches perfect. I was scolded. I belong to an English paper piecing group on Facebook, and I was scolded to not call this English paper piecing, and I am very adamant that I don't. It's Hexies to me, because it is a little different process, but you get the same outcome. The finished product looks exactly the same. Have you, has anybody seen, I know that people use a stamp and stamp the back of their fabric with the lines like what our foundation have. My big concern about that is what kind of ink do they use, and will it bleed into your fabric? That was my only concern, because when I came out with the Hexies, I had to, I wasn't going to do it if it wasn't worthwhile. You know, if it really didn't offer a better way or an easier way, or if there wasn't an advantage to using it. It would be stupid to come out with a product that didn't give you an advantage or make it easier or make it better. So I had considered the stamps, but the ink bothered me, and if it's a special ink that won't run, I'm sure it's going to cost more, but I don't really know. And pivot at 1. My threads love me. One more time. What's everybody working on? Anything exciting? Okay, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got one more. See, this isn't too big and bulky to work with yet. This is my last seam on this quarter. Pull that all away. Remember, these are the 2.5-inch Hexies. There's 80 in a package. Okay, there's my 5 rows of 4. So that's going to make a decent sized baby quilt, because that's a quarter of it. So it will be, I got a couple more to put on this one. Go together like that. Yeah, that'll be, because I've got another row to put on it, so that'll be a good size. Or I can put it this way, and that will be how wide it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be good. Yeah. So I'm going to press this so you can see how I press these. I kind of got to wait for my iron to come back on. Are you doing the family, Stars of the Family? Oh yes, Sandy, you're doing, yeah, you're doing Stars of the Family. Okay, so it really doesn't matter how I start here. It's just once I make my first seam go in a direction, that's going to dictate the rest of the quilt. So that one's going to go that way, and that one's going to go that way, and that's going to pop that open right there. So then that one's going to go that way, that one's going to go that way, and that will pop that open right there. And you just keep following it. And my glasses are going to steam. Pop that open. Oh, we've got lots of steam here. So see, that's how whoops, how it goes. Just do them in a circle. So this one is going that way, that one's going to go that way. And I won't do the other one. I'll put those last couple pieces on the other quarter, and I won't press it till after I join it to this, so that it can just keep continuing. Just pops that little intersection open. do this one. I got some marigolds to plant today too, sitting out. Last year, I planted marigolds in the pots with my tomatoes, and my tomatoes did much better. So yesterday I picked up a few marigolds. We'll get those planted. Let's see, that goes that way. I should be using my little iron for this. There we go. Come on. Okay, I think I got it. Yeah. The only problem with this big iron is it. Oh wow, that looks so much better. There we go. That looks great. Awesome, awesome. This is going to be a fast project. Now I need to get this row done. And 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Whoops. I think about like that works for me. So let's do this one. What is this? Oh, teapot. And I'd see better if I put my glasses back on. Okay, let's get this done. This is going to be exciting. Maybe I won't go mow today. I'd like to get this one done. It'd be nice to have to show like it shows to show people how much a package can make. Pivot that, make sure that comes over to the seam line. That's perfect. Whoops. I looked in at the other feet I have for this machine, and I don't see anything that'll work any better. So I'm gonna have to look in the catalog and see. I'll have to order one if I'm gonna do either that, or I have room here to set. I have 3 featherweights. I keep one for one. Actually, I like to have 2 for the shows, so if something happens to the main one, I've got a backup. Now that we're not using the RV, because I had one in the RV, one that we took to shows, and then one for up at my house. And now that we aren't using the RV, I think I'll bring that one in here. Or I will have to look, you know, when I first started this, developed the foundation, I taught at our local quilt shop. My girlfriend owned the shop, and we started our businesses at the same time. Okay, is that the one I'm working on? Yeah. Okay, now this one. Anyway, she had bought out an estate. She bought the long arm, and this woman had a collection of featherweights. And I'd always wanted one, so I took the money I got from the class, and I bought my first featherweight from her. And my husband sort of wishes he hadn't been, he pushed me to buy it. And it started me on a journey. I love vintage machines. And I mean, I love my modern ones, but it started me on a journey, and now I have the 3 featherweights, and I have 3 treadle machines, and I don't know how many others I have, and I've been very fortunate that most of them have been given to me by friends or family members who realize how much I love them. And I'm hoping someday soon to have a new studio where I can display them all. Because I do try to run all of them, not often, but fairly often. Keep them all in running order, but I would love to have a place where I can have them up and threaded and on display and able to just go sit at any one of them at any time and use it. I just think that would be so awesome. So that's the goal. Okay, we have one more. And 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then we'll join 1/4 to 1/4. So yes, I think I could get this done in a day. And that's always fun, to get a project done, and then getting it quilted another day, getting it bound and sewn down, but that's pretty fast, really. And on a baby quilt that would be getting washed, I may just I have some really nice flannel I may put on the back of this instead of minky. I forget where I was going with my conversation. I remember you, Sandy. I remember you very well. You have done a lot of our patterns. I was sort of hoping you were going to come up to Hampton this year, but I did have I was teaching 2 days of the show. I didn't get to visit much with anybody. Okay. Now I don't want to press this one till I get it attached to the other quarter that I did get pressed. And I think I'm going to, let's see, this is, I want to join it like this. Or can I do it? Nope. Nope, gotta go like this. Or we could do this end over here. I think I like that better. Those two bright dark ones. Oh no, those are different. Okay, I'm still all different. Okay, so joining this to this, I'm going to start, these two edges are where I'm going to start, so I like to put a pin because sometimes it gets confusing on when you go to join them. It's like, okay, what two seams go together now, or where do the blocks go? So now I'm going to flip it over. Once you get your first one, it's pretty obvious after that. So, right sides together, match those corners. And it's a little more awkward when you're joining two big pieces together. But actually this one's not too bad. I could get my corner here, corner there, corner there. Oh, that's perfect. Yep. And the seam allowance is pushed away. On one stitch. Hey, I did one stitch. I just use, I could have put blue thread in here, I didn't think about it, but I have these gigantic spools of thread that are perfect for piecing, and it's light tan, and I have one that's barely different that I keep over on my bobbin winder, and I'll either use beiges or tans or grays. unless sometimes I don't really even like to use black when I'm sewing black fabric, because if I make a mistake and have to pull stitches out, you can't, it's very hard to see the threads. Okay, so we pivoted, and now we're gonna sew down this side. Want to make sure everything's pulled out of the way. And if I just get this first one right in place, there we go, and feel to make sure it's right where it's supposed to be, and I put my needle down, then I can make sure I get the rest of this all straight. You'll get used to me chasing threads because I just don't like threads all over my quilt. Okay, so I've got this one sewn and this one sewn. This is next. So we'll flip this over. There's the dreaded Y seam. Match those corners just like that. Match the edges, and we're ready to sew. Make that, put that seam allowance out of the way. Don't want to stitch it down. Oh, and it matches perfect. Yay! Are you doing the kaleidoscope one, the one that Laura's working on? The kaleidoscope kaleidoscope star pattern, or the stained glass kaleidoscope? See, threads. Just turn that. We're just going to keep working right down along this line to join these two. Okay, see, I got them together, and that end is right. I can feel the seam right underneath it. Like I said, as long as I have that one in the right place, I can put my needle in the down position and then match the edges of the two that I'm sewing together. See, 2 stitches, but I held it in place. Okay, so now we're gonna pivot this one around. And you want to pull that away so you can match your 2 corners there, and match down here, and I pull that, and I can feel that that end of that line is right in that line of stitching, or right up against it. Put my needle down, match these 2, pull that out so you don't catch your seam allowance. Okay, now we're gonna pivot it again. Match those corners. Actually, this is not too bad. Bulk wise, you know, having to flip the fabrics around. It's not bad at all. I'm going to put my needle down. Oh, there, see, I pulled that right like that. My corners match and my edges match. So there we have, this is the seam line. We're doing this, 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 this. So now I'm going to flip it over and pivot that. Just pops right out. So you can match those. That matches perfect, and it's right at the point where it's supposed to be. And make sure this, and I gotta pull my seam allowance this direction. And I can feel the end of the line is right at that seam line underneath. Okay, so we sewed that one. Now we're going to rotate this. We're sewn to there. So we're going to rotate this around like that. And when you get it, it'll just pop out so it goes together beautifully. Threads. Match those. Oh, the end of the line is right where it's supposed to be. And everything's out of the way there. Oh, what do we have? One more seam? Yes. Okay. Flip that over and pivot it. Just like that. Matches. Yay. Oh, Julia's pineapple kaleidoscope pineapple, or pineapple kaleidoscope, whatever. Yeah, that I love that one. Okay, you guys, I got half of it done, all put together. I'm gonna turn it over and press this side out, and then I'm gonna go hunt down 40 more blue fabrics so I can finish this thing up. I think it went pretty well. I hope this week I've inspired you a little bit to give the Hexies a try. I think doing it this way is just so much easier, and I will keep you posted as I go along with my, I have not decided on a name for this quilt. We'll get it figured out. We have this one, And this one is the 1.5 inch Hexies, and there's going to be 72 of them, so I think one package will be plenty. Let me look. The inch and a half. Oh yeah, the inch and a half. There's 120 in the package, so you have more than enough to make. And I believe this this quilt, because it's going to be on point, is 72 blocks, and I believe it's like 86 by 86, something like that. Because remember, these are 9-inch finished squares that they're appliqued on. So, and if you want, I'll probably be putting a pattern out if if you want to wait. But if you don't want to wait, just get your one package for $14.95, and it will do more than this quilt. So, oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm saying 72 of the flowers. So that's 7 times 72. You'd need a couple packages, but you can buy one package and get those done, and then you could buy another package after you get the first 120 done. Um, if I could do math in my head, I'd tell you exactly how many you need. But 120, you're gonna need several packages. But like I say, you don't have to buy them all at once. Um, Make sure you're gonna get them done. I that's 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 what I tell people I'd like to see them do. I don't want you to overburden yourself and then be overwhelmed and not be able to get it done. My little table toppers, I tell people, if you want to make a big quilt from the 1-inch Hexies, buy one of the two patterns and get started on it. It comes with a design sheet. Draw up your own design. You're gonna probably, if you want a bigger quilt than just the table topper, but the table topper has the instructions on how to do it, and enough, I forget how many are in the pattern package. But then you can, if you have your design drawn out, you can order one package of blocks and get those 400 done. I don't know how big you want to make it, but just do it gradually so you don't get yourself overwhelmed. And if you get to a point and you just say, I don't want to do this anymore, at least you have something that's usable. So, that's the best advice I can give you. And if it's a pattern for a particular pattern that you gotta get it all at once, that's one thing. But these kinds of projects, and the projects that I'll be showing you next week, are all these ones that you can do from your stash. You don't have to go out and buy a particular fabric. Obviously you can if that's what you want to do, but to save some money, if you've got any kind of a stash, these projects that I'm going to show you again next week are perfect for that. And hopefully we'll give you some hints about organizing it as you go anyway. So I'm going to take off a little bit early today, and I'm going to go hunt down 40 more blue fabrics and get this one done, and I'll share it with you next Tuesday. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, that you get to do something, some kind of stitching, whatever you're working on, and have a great weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday at noon Pacific time, and we'll be working on all new stuff next week. So hope to catch you then. Take care.